What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Matt Ramage Show. We have Jimmy Christensen in the building. We got some Packers stuff happening. The Packers signed the free agents. We're going to talk about that, obviously. But before we reunite with Jimmy and get to know what's going on in Jimmy Land, let's talk about the sponsors. Quick Trip, big sponsor of the Matt Ramage Show. And they got the hot spot meal. They got all types of good stuff. Summertime's coming up. They probably got that summertime merch popping off. They got a lot of cool stuff. So be sure that you're checking the Quick Rewards app so that you can find out what sweepstakes they got going on. And I'm going to check that out myself because summertime, they always, it's not summertime yet, but I got that summertime feel.
Oh,
You can smell it in the air. I told my son that you could smell summer coming. And he thought I was on LSD or something. He looked at me funny. But I was like, you can, when it gets 60 around Wisconsin, you get, even you start putting pants on, and then they did start they just start falling apart. They turn into shorts. That's just how it happens over here in Wisconsin. But also big shout out to Nicolay Law. You get hurt in an accident, insurance companies are gonna be shady with you, but Nicolay Law is they know how to talk to him. They talk to him real nice. It's kind of like that, like Godfather. I gave him an offer they couldn't refuse. I don't think it's quite like that. I shouldn't say that. But Nicolay Law's got the hookup. Check out nicolaylaw.com if you hopefully you never need them. But if you do, it's good to know that they're there. You know what I mean? But what's up, Jimmy? How you doing?
Man, I'm surviving. I can't complain at all. But talking about Quick Trip, you got to go in the beer cooler right now because they have those deals where they're trying to get rid of certain alcohol to bring in the new stuff for summer coming. They got 12-pack of seltzers for $8. And you can't go wrong with that because usually they're $18. So $10 off those. Some of the beer things, couple dollars off there. So go into that cooler. They're hiding the deals in there. You see that red tag, you stock up on those bad boys because you're saving at least $10 a case.
We're talking to a professional right here, people. This is a privilege.
Some people call it professionalism. Some call it alcoholism. One or the other. We'll find out.
Either way, you're saving money. You know what I mean? Get buzzed up on a deal. You know what I mean? What's up, Iowa Joe? Checking. He said, "Oh, why would you want to talk to Jimmy?"
I blackmailed him. I sent him a text and said, "I got some dirt on you, dude. You better let me on that show again."
Let's talk about some Packers. No, you're one of my favorite people. And tomorrow I'll be talking to Bex. Bex, I forget the full name of the Facebook page, but Bex, he's interviewed AJ Dillon, Mark Tosher, interviewed a whole bunch of awesome people that I can't interview. You know what I mean? But and I think he's 10 years old. I actually did the interview before, but my power went out during it. And it you erased it or whatever. So I'm gonna talk to him again tomorrow. That won't be live because I'm not gonna put a 10-year-old kid live on my channel because the comment section isn't always up to code. But that'll be pre-recorded and it'll probably be posted probably Friday. We'll see what happens. But look out for that because I think the first time we did it was awesome. I'm gonna try to make it. My memory ain't that good, so I'll probably forget all the questions I asked him anyways. But he has some cool stories. But we're going to talk about some Packers football, Jimmy. But, Jimmy, how has your offseason been? Because we haven't really talked in a minute. You've been working a lot.
Been working. It's crazy. Had a couple work trips, and then I forgot that I'm 31 years old, and I decided to play basketball like I have for the last year. Totally blew out my knee again, so I'm trying to wait to figure out what exactly I did. So we'll see. It's the same knee I tore my ACL on, so we'll see if I'll go in for round 2 or what the deal is. But that bad boy gives out about once a day now, so it's not great. But it gives me an excuse to sit on the couch and not do much, so I can't complain.
Yeah, I don't do things that make my knees do that. My knees hurt just getting out of bed. They make noises. It's almost like that cereal, snap, crackle, pop. When I get out, I know better than to actually try. I take the garbage out, come in, I'm like, all right, let's slow things down, everybody. Just calm down. My wife's like, I need to do this. I just took the garbage out. I'm gonna need about 27 minutes to
you're grunting as you pull it out of the garbage can.
This is too much work for me. But a big shout out to everyone who's tuning in live. We got some Go Pack goals. We got Ivan Lars in the building. What's up, man? He's talking about your Quick Trip deals over here. He says 12-pack of ham, $7.29.
Ivan gets it, dude. He gets it.
Yeah, he knows what's up. You know what I mean? And we got true North Packers fan. Like the Packers, Ramage fails at free agency, and all we get is that the same old Jimmy. No, Jimmy's a smart fella. That's why I brought him on, because we got some free agency stuff to talk about. All right, so the Packers added a little bit. I don't want to. Let's dive into some Facebook comments first, because some of these are going to cover what I want to talk about, and obviously we want to give people props for chiming in on the comments. But first of all, we have to start off with the Green Bay guy.
Yeah.
The Green Bay guy has a question. It's not football related. We'll jump right back into this free agency stuff. But I think this is a good question, Jimmy.
Okay.
Listen up. All right.
I'm listening.
If you found a book, and after browsing it for a few seconds, you realize it's the entire story of your life, how much of it would you read?
That's a philosophical question.
Dude, I told about that. That's deep. And the way I asked that question, I can clip this, because that was that TikTok voice. How much of it would you read? I think it's a good question.
I think I would. I think until my kids are adults, just so I can see how that's going to turn out, and then probably stop there. But my kids are, I don't know, if I get that point, I might as well finish the thing, because that's pretty far down the line. I don't know. I can't lie. The second I hate reading, so I probably won't read any. If they have an audio version, the whole thing, if I'm being honest.
Get that in a podcast, get someone to read it. I want Tom Hanks or like Samuel L. Jackson reading mine. I don't know. But I think, honestly, like, if I'm being honest, I probably skip to the end. I'm not going to read it because I don't read that all that much. I read My Girl when I was a kid. You know, I was a tearjerker. That was probably the last book I read. And then the Vanilla Ice biography, I read that back in the day. But I would probably just skip to the end and see if I'm old or if I'm like, you know, like, if you're like, I'll just skip to the middle and it starts talking about what happened 2 weeks ago, like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? But yeah,
you pick yours up. It's real short. You're like, oh, this is not gonna.
Yeah. It's like a real short book. You skip right to the middle, and it's not that long ago. You're in trouble. All right, so let's talk about some. We got some Green Bay Packers stuff coming up over here. We got Joey Peterson chiming in on Facebook. He says, 2 questions. Do you think the Bears could be an issue this year with a new staff and tons of free agents they picked up? And 2, do you think the Lions fall off to 3rd or 4th in division with new offensive and defensive coordinators and loss of players so far? So what do you think? Do you think the Bears step up a spot? What do you think that the Lions do? And then we'll get to some live comments as well.
I really hate how well the Bears are doing this offseason. And it's not even just them. Like, you look at the Vikings, and I would say a lot of teams in the NFL are just, it's a copycat league. The Eagles, great offensive line, great defensive line, especially in the NFC North right now. Where do we see the most investment? The offensive line and the defensive line. Vikings got an offensive lineman. We obviously got Aaron Banks. Bears traded for 2, signed a center. 2 defensive linemen they signed. I think they brought back one of their own. Vikings bring in 2 defensive linemen. Like, it's where the whole division's building in the trenches. The Lions are kind of like us on that defensive line where we're not really doing much right now. All they did was cut our boys to Darius Smith. And so and to go to the Lions part, I think there will be definitely a regression on their team because they lost so many coaches, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. A lot of the main pieces of players are still there. I think they'll still be – I think the whole NFC North right now is going to be very competitive. Everyone kind of on even playing field. But the Lions, I don't see them dropping off too much. I just see them dropping off to the level of everybody else. And then it's just who kind of catches those breaks throughout the year.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I see it, like, pre-draft, like what's going on right now. Like, the Vikings has a lot to do with the quarterback situation, which I want to talk about that. We got a question over here on Facebook about that too. But Vikings, a lot has to do with the quarterback situation. Is J.J. McCarthy, is he ready? Like, is he was injured? I don't know the whole details on that. Do they plan on playing him, or do they plan on bringing a veteran? You know what I mean? A veteran that people might know about.
I hear his name a couple times.
But yeah, I think the Bears are doing good things, which is kind of annoying. But like, dude, the Bears are always winning the offseason. You know what I mean? So like, I don't get too excited about or like scared about what they're doing because they're always doing stuff. You know, the offseason champs. I forget who said it on Twitter. 3 years in a row, Bears are offseason champs. But like, that doesn't always equal doing good in the regular season. And I think the NFC North is going to be tough. I think the Lions, I feel like they do chip down a little bit because I think any team would. You lose your offense and defensive coordinator plus a few players. I think that they're gonna. It's gonna be a tough road for them. I don't think that they're like gonna fall off. They're gonna win 6 games, but I think they're like you said. I think the NFC North is gonna be an absolute battle next season. It depends on like a lot of what the Vikings do. Who's the Vikings quarterback? But that's
the one.
I think NFC North will be interesting. What do you got?
I was gonna say with the Bears too. The one part of Ben Johnson, like we know, he can cook up an offense for sure. I'm interested to see what kind of culture he builds for the team, because even just looking at Ben Johnson, if he tries to do the Dan Campbell like we're tough, we're always gonna like does not fit, my dude. Like you got to have a different style. And so I don't know if it's more of like the finesse way with like Matt LaFleur, just kind of cool, calm. Obviously, he has his outbursts on the sideline, but I'm interested in see what culture he builds there, or if he kind of leans on Dennis Allen as the DC, who was with Dan Campbell in New Orleans. Like, is he going to be the one to kind of set that tough culture because probably fits him a little bit better than Ben Johnson, or what they're going to do there? Because that's a big part of the Lions. Like, yeah, they had a great offensive scheme, they had a good D coordinator, but that culture of just never give up, tough, physical, like that came from Dan Campbell, and that's not going to be able to be replicated by someone that looks like he teaches PE for 5th graders.
You know? That's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I don't think he'll try that either because I think only certain coaches can really do that. Like Campbell played, he's like beefed up. He's like one of them. He's like one of the players. You can't just step in like being Benny Boy over there, like looking like he's straight up from the crossing guard. And I'm sure he's a great coach and like he'll. I think have some good ideas. I don't know. I feel like the Bears are jinxed though. I've never think the Bears like they don't ever impress me because like it's just like until you do it. Like my boss says that all the time. I'm like, hey, I could do this really good. He's like, well then do it. Just do it. Yeah. Like and until you do it, until you show it, the Bears are the Bears. But they're making the right moves. I feel like a lot of NFC North teams are. We're gonna talk about what the Packers have done, but I want to get to a few more comments over here. All right, so let's get this one. Justin Holmes over here on Facebook says, is this the year the Packers take a wide receiver in round 1? So, like, the Packers didn't trade away round 1. What do you think that they do with round 1? Or it could still be traded, I don't know that anyone worthy of being traded that we know about anymore, because everyone... It's been he said he wanted more picks. He wants more. So like, would he trade down? I could definitely see it. They don't, as much as fans care about the draft being in Green Bay, they don't care. Like they're going to do whatever's best for the team. I don't know. It's a tough one. Like I obviously, it could happen this year, but the Packers are such a team where whatever the hype is, you can pretty much guarantee it's not going to go that way. And we address the offensive line. We address the cornerback room. I still think if the best player available is an offensive lineman or another defensive back, I think they take it. That's just how they've been doing things lately. It's just it really doesn't matter the position. Whoever's best player available, we're going to take right now, and we'll fit them into what we have. I don't think it'll be offensive line, but again, that could be. I think we go defense. I think we either get another cornerback and then kind of bring him along, and Nixon's gone after this year, or Bullard, just we're not happy with what he can do in the slot, want him just to be a safety backup. I don't know, man. The Packers are so confusing. Edge defense, we lost TJ Slayton, so we need a big beefy guy in the middle. I doubt we'll do that first round, but I say we go defense, either edge or cornerback. Yeah, and they got the corner. They got a corner in free agency. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, so like I think their biggest need, I think obviously offensive line is very important. I feel like offensive line and defensive line is like what you need. Obviously, like you need your quarterback, but like where you start a team, it doesn't matter how great your quarterback is if you can't protect him. it's not going to be good. The same thing on defense. If you can get a pass rush, you can destroy. Like we've seen it in the Super Bowl. A pass rush I think is huge for the Packers as a need. I'm far from a scout or some kind of guru, mock draft specialist or anything like that. But I think that they need secondary. But I think pass rush. You get a pass rush, it helps your secondary so much. Yeah. And we don't know, like Jair. We'll talk about that too. If he will be back or if he won't be back. But let's talk about the corner that the Packers just got in free agency. What do you know about him? And while you talk about that, I'm gonna put you on full screen because I can hear you, but I have to take a little potty break.
You might want to mute your mic so I don't hear it. Now
that's a good reminder.
Yeah, I got you. For Hobbs, like I haven't heard from the stuff you see, he's a good slot. Excuse me, he's a good slot corner, which right away, and people saw on Twitter, I'm sure on Facebook, the question then becomes, what are we going to do with Bullard? Because Bullard, an ideal situation for the defense, he was down there in the slot. Nixon was outside while Jair was out. We had Stokes, who's now on the Raiders, but we had Stokes and Valentine on the other side. I think with Hafley, one, he wants to be in dime, so we'll get 4 defensive backs on the field. That can allow Bullard and Hobbs to be in the slots. Have Nixon on the outside, Valentine there. The big question mark's Jair. As of right now, he's on the team. A lot of people, myself included, I assume he's not going to be there once the season starts. Honestly, even when training camp starts. So we'll see what happens, and who knows, we could make a couple more signings or even just smaller guys. You can always expect the Packers to do some kind of signing early in June. So whether it's some guy that's going to be a cheap contract, they're going to take a flyer on the Devondre Campbell style, bring him in. Hopefully he can do well and do something for the team. But they'll bring someone in, maybe even in the defensive back room. But right now with Hobbs, it's an aggressive player. They've shown he's done well with the run game, even coming from that dime or from that nickel spot. And so it adds another piece of depth. Let's Hafley get creative, and then let's see what they can do. But honestly, it's one of those things where we needed a corner. We got a corner. People still complain because it wasn't the corner they wanted. Let's just find out what happens. Hafley proved he can do stuff. He can be a good defensive coordinator. He has another piece now for the defense. Let's roll with it and figure out. But we'll see. Also, Ramage, you see Eric Stokes officially. Corey just found out. Sorry, Corey, breaking news to you. Eric Stokes went over to the Raiders. 1 year.
I did not see that.
1 year, $4 million, like a cheap deal.
1 year, $4 million. That's like minimum wage in the NFL.
Yeah, it really is, which is nuts to say. Like, hey, $4 million's kind of like, we'll see what happens. We might cut you tomorrow. Like,
yeah, it's like you're barely in the league. No disrespect to him, but just that contract. Yeah, that is interesting that the Packers are like, no, absolutely not. Because like 1 year, $4 million, you think that
nothing.
Yeah, if they wanted.
He didn't even play the last couple games, or like I think he only had a few snaps, even in that playoff game. Like it seemed to be some issue with him where either he was mad about playing time, or they finally were like, "Dude, you just aren't good enough for us to put you on the field." Who knows? That's an in-house thing that only the Packers really know what the problem is.
That's the thing is like there's a lot of in-house stuff. Like we can kind of bounce that to Jair. So like Jair, like Rob Demovsky, legendary Packers beat writer. I'm gonna add that. But he says a deal isn't, as of right now, a deal isn't being made.
Yeah.
So do you think that there's any chance that he's a Green Bay Packer next season? Like they just say, hey, we can't move him, we can't trade him. We would just want to gamble on this injury. Like he might, but like, is it full injury? Because like I hear all these reports, or not want to say reports, but people kind of rumors and talking about maybe it's not fully injury. It's like they're not happiness in the locker room. I don't know if that's true. I don't like to like assume like, the worst. But do you think that he could be a Packer next year?
I mean, there's always a chance. Always a chance. You never know. Like if they don't get the right trade package for him, even if it's something very minimum right now, I feel like they would jump on it. But he's in the position now where people are going to assume he's gone. Kind of like the Cooper Kupp thing. Teams aren't trying to trade for him because if you don't, they'll cut him and then they can try to just sign him instead of giving up assets. They're just giving him a bigger contract. And Joe's point where he said everyone said the same thing about Rodgers. I get what you're trying to say, but to me, these are two very different circumstances. Like, yeah, they said that about Rodgers being gone, but Rodgers also won back-to-back MVPs. The team was cruising. Jair, he's missed a big chunk of the last couple seasons. We had the issues with, and he's nowhere near the best corner in the league right now because he hasn't been able to play. Rodgers was arguably the best quarterback for that 2-year span, right up there with the Mahomes and Josh Allen's. Jair right now, the little headaches Rodgers caused were fine because he was playing at that level. The headaches, if Jair is causing headaches, a lot harder to stomach when homeboy's not even getting on the field.
Yeah.
So I get what you're trying to say. He's in the plans until he isn't, but I think those situations are a little bit different in the sense of just where they're at with their play. And they're paying a guy a lot of money, putting up with things that I don't think they really like for him to just, and it's not his fault getting hurt, but it's eventually you got to move on and try to see who you can bring in.
Yeah, and like that, I like his swagger, like the whole sword or seatbelt, whatever you want to call it. I know there's a lot of controversy in that, and that's a controversy I like to talk about. But that's not as cute when you're not on the field. Yeah, like all that talk and all that whatnot. But I love Jair. I think that he's a great player when he's on the field. But like, you're either there or you're not. And if you're not there, you're getting paid top money or good money. It was top money when he signed it, and so it's hard to say like if they would like they can't trade him, so like let's just try it again because the whole kind of that David Bakhtiari flashback. I don't know if it's exactly the same thing, but it's like, hey, he's hurt. It's going to cost us this much money to cut him. I think that someone said that they could save like $17 million if they cut him after June 1st. I'm not a cap guru. Yeah. Do you know the cap casualties? I saw that in there.
I honestly, with Jair, I was just like, whatever happens with him, I don't know. Yeah. I didn't look. I don't know, like the cap. I trust the chat. You know what I mean? Why would they lie to me? Why would they lie to me? You know what I mean? But I'm not Kent Ingalls over here. But I think it'd be worth it. Like if they decide that they want to keep him, like it all depends on what they know about the injury because we don't know about the injury and if it's fully the injury or if there is some behind the scenes stuff. So I don't expect him to be a Packer next year, but I wouldn't be stunned if they could fix it because so many times, first of all, when there are problems, when players are like, I'm mad, like even Rodgers, like someone, Iowa Joe said, when he was going at it with Goot, and like there's other receivers, I want a contract, be the highest paid, whatever, and they somehow figure it out because it's a business, they're all businessmen, and they kind of figured it out. So we'll see if Jair's there. My thing is like they added a corner, so if Jair's there, bonus, we have a great corner if he's healthy. Hopefully he would be if he's coming back, but he might not be there. So that's my expert analyst. Maybe not. 50-50. Even to like what Corey said, and you mentioned Bach too. Like, they kept Bakhtiari around for a bit, but I guess the other question to that is, do they learn from that a little bit and think like, we can't do that again? Let's just cut it earlier when we can. Yeah. And I guess it is a little bit different. I don't know, man. It's
because the Bakhtiari thing was
everyone.
And the Bakhtiari thing, I think for like some of those years was like doesn't pay to cut him because the cap hit was so extraordinary because he got hurt right as he signed the contract, right? Yeah, it was pretty early on, so it was like, well, we can cut him, but the cap hit is so severe. Let's just see if he can get healthy. And obviously they gambled, it didn't work out, and it sucked. But I don't think Jair is quite that extravagant of an investment or whatever. But maybe it is. But the secondary, we definitely need to get some stuff going on there. That's our expert analyst right there, dude.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. Goody, I trust. Let's see what happens.
All right, so let's get to a comment here. We got Joey Kumalala. My guy, what's up? Said if we don't have a good playoff run, does Green Bay clean house with the people calling the shots? I do think that I'm not like ready to like everyone's on the hot seat, fire everybody, you know what I mean? But I do think the expectations are high this year. They're not going to talk about youngest team in the NFL, and they're not going to talk about even if they are like Matt LaFleur kind of said at the end of the year. A couple players echoed that this offseason. It doesn't matter if they are the youngest. Expectations are high. The defense, the defense is very I feel like they can be very good, but just when the pass rush isn't there, it's just not going to happen for them.
Yeah.
And the passing game for the Packers offense has to pick it up. Josh Jacobs has done his job in running game. Hopefully they got Tucker Kraft and Musgrave in the tight end position. But if this is the receiving group that they have, they got to step it up. They got to catch the ball. They got to, you're more in the offense. Christian Watson isn't going to be there. Maybe they draft a wide receiver. Maybe they get someone. Maybe they add someone else in, like a veteran. I don't know who that would be. Maybe Jerry Rice. He wants to knock that thing off.
Randy Moss.
We're running out. Jordy Nelson.
I saw James Jones working out today on Twitter.
You know what I mean? So maybe James Jones. Dusty old hoodie off. No, but what do you think about as far as expectations and if they don't meet? Because I think they do have to go on a playoff run here. Yeah. They have to. I'm not saying that if they don't, they're gonna fire everyone. It depends the reasons too. Like, is there severe injuries and whatnot? But what are your thoughts and expectations?
Man, this season's gonna be a tricky one because we play the AFC West, so we're gonna have the Bengals, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns. Who cares about the Browns? Those three teams going to be tough games. And then this NFC North, 6 games in the division with the Lions already one of the top teams in the NFL from last season. You had the Bears making really positive moves. The Vikings, it really all falls back onto J.J. McCarthy, but weapons there with Aaron Jones. The pieces around the offense around J.J., great. And then they're adding to their defense, especially that defensive line, bringing in their own corner, or I should say keeping their own corner. It's going to be a tough division. So this year is really tough to be like, if they don't have a good playoff run, it's a problem because the NFC, man, it's going to be tough because then you even look at those wild card spots. Not only are you battling with your own division, you look over at the NFC East. Now you have the Eagles, the Super Bowl champions, and then the Commanders, who they just beat in the NFC Championship, who are also improving their team. So it's going to be probably one of the hardest, theoretically. A lot of things can change until then. It's going to be one of the hardest years to even get into the playoffs. So I think there's going to be a little bit of grace there. And then you look at this wide receiver room. I think we're going to have to draft somebody because even just looking at the signings right now, and we haven't even seen Jamar Chase get his $40 million a year contract, but you look at these lower level people like Shakir on the Bills got around I'll just say around 15 million. Darius Slayton got 12 million a year. We have Dobbs coming up on a contract. He falls in that area. Statistically, he's in the same area Shakir was. He's going to get money. He's going to get at least the mid-teens. Christian Watson, I know he has an injury, but we took him in the second round. He's a freak athlete. If we want him on the team, it's going to be, again, mid-teens to 20 million a year. So we're going to have to draft a receiver we're going to probably lose one of them. There's a lot of moving pieces to where I think expectations are high, but there's still going to be a little bit of grace to not. I think at most we finally fire Rich Bisaccia, but I don't see Halfley
the highest paid special teams coordinator in the league.
I don't see LaFleur or Goody or Halfley being fired, especially because we're going to have a new team president come in. Like the last thing he's going to want to do is come in and be like, "We're blowing it up." Like it would not be a good look.
Yeah, Ed Policy, he's gonna have some policies of his own. But
I hate you. That was a good one. I like that. I like that.
I'm clever. No, but let's talk about his wide receivers real quick. Christian Watson, right? He's gonna be coming off an injury. Probably not gonna play a big chunk of the season, maybe half the season. Hopefully more, but I think a nice guesstimate would be about half. So if he comes out and balls out. Yeah, has a good time. I think the Packers could still get him on pretty cheap. Coming off an injury, I think that they could probably get him pretty reasonably. But Romeo Dobbs, like you mentioned, these guys going into a contract, they could pop off. Like Romeo Dobbs, I think is a dude that can do. He can be that guy. Wicks, I think too. I'm not saying be the number one guy, but he can be a guy that he could be a very, very, very good weapon. But they got to catch the ball. And I feel like next year, obviously this offseason, they're probably working on that, especially Wicks. He's got to catch the ball. But, not to compare him, but it's the one guy you can compare him to is Devontae Adams. He had a very rough start. Everyone was like, get rid of him, cut him, trade him, whatever. And he ended up being a pretty good wide receiver. So, I think it's silly to like write these guys off and like we'll see like what they do this year. But I feel like this year they're gonna have a lot of reason to be good because money going into like next season, like whether it's for the Green Bay Packers or someone else, they want to make their money. And if they're all good, the Packers like you say, they can't keep them all. But I don't know what my point was with this, but I feel like these wide receivers, not just the wide receiver, I feel like the passing game, Jordan Love, the offensive line, even pass protecting, the tight ends, everyone like it has like in those meetings, this passing game has to be better, and it should be better. Jordan Love is better than this. Obviously, he had some injuries last year, but do you feel like this passing game, like as it stands today, like maybe they add a rookie, but like if they don't add a big time free agent, do you think that this passing group can be successful this season? And if you don't think so, then just lie to us.
Yeah, I'll lie. No, I think they're going to take a step up individually. I think with Watson with Watson being out most of the season, if we don't find that speedster, that big playmaker, it's going to put a damper on everybody. But just looking at it, Wicks led the league. I was Googling it because, professional. While you were talking, Wicks led the league with 18% drop rate. He only had 9 drops, but since he wasn't as target as much as of the next player I'm going to mention, he had a higher drop rate. Who led the team in drops was actually Jaden Reed with 10 of them. Lower drop rate because he was getting more targets, but he had 10 drops. Wicks had 9. Dobbs had 7. Take away half of those, and a lot of situations change for the Packers.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that just that improvement alone, Wicks, and you look at those charts, like separation against corners, like the man is a crisp route runner. If we can fix those drops and just lower that drop rate, that changes the offense. Get Musgrave healthy. That's going to be a big aspect to the passing game. I think there's definitely, I don't want to be all sunshine and rainbows.
Dude, do it.
Well, no, I'm about to be a downer. I would say the ceiling for this group has definitely lowered in my mind compared to where I was last year of like, this group's great because we've seen when one player's out, it throws off the whole dynamic. We're going into the year with one player out, and we're going to have to see how we replace it. But one of those guys, I don't know. I think there's too much talent in that room to not have one of them take a big step forward this year. We saw glimpses of it with Jaden Reed. Fell off towards the end of the year. Dobbs was having his concussions, his injuries, his missed game for whatever reason they had to deal with. And then Wicks was just Wicks this year. He had a lot of drops, some splash games and plays, but just inconsistent, young, dumb plays that has to change. Because like you said, people aren't going to say youngest team in the NFL anymore. That was cute a couple years ago. Now it's annoying if we keep bringing it up. It's like, yeah, you might be young. Get over it. You're in the big boy league. We need you to win. Sorry. Like, it is what it is. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, the whole young thing is like it works for a year, 2 tops. But like, all right, you have to like, expectations are high. Like we have a Viking fan here, so I'll just say this: Vikings are hot garbage. But
who's a Vikings fan?
We got a Viking fan over here. Let's bring in. Talk about how how you are the worst team in the division, and how other teams got better. Yeah, to Leaf Gunderson.
I just want to throw out his team really wanted Daniel Jones at quarterback. So I like before we throw anything at anyone, you guys were begging Daniel Jones to come to your team. So let's calm down a little bit. So
dude, they're a quarterback away that they say. So I will say this, and I don't like to say this anything good about the Vikings, but the whole Aaron Rodgers situation, I believe that they're saying it's between the Giants and the Steelers.
Yeah.
So I don't think that the Vikings want him or he doesn't want the Vikings.
I would love it.
I feel like, dude, if Aaron Rodgers went to the Vikings, that's his best chance to go to a good team. Because they were Sam Darnold. What did they win? 13 games last year, 14. I forget what it was exactly. No playoff wins. Shout that out.
Yeah, but all through the NFC North team, and all 4 of us, honestly, none of us got playoff wins.
Yeah, it was toughest division in the league. They're like, hey, we're gonna win no playoff games. But I feel like that's the best team for Aaron Rodgers to go to be successful. Like the whole Brady thing, like he went to the Bucs. Yeah. That was the best team available for him. The only team, good defense, needed a quarterback. I feel like the Vikings is that that same type of team. I still don't think that they would win the Super Bowl, but I feel like that's his best opportunity. But I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think either of them want each other.
No.
I don't think Rodgers, first of all,
fun,
wants
though.
to.
Would that not
I don't
be one
know.
of the coolest
I don't know.
things? Follow
Well, it would be
Brett
good
Favre,
content.
Jets, Vikings.
Yeah. It'd be content, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers wants to follow the whole Brett Favre thing because everyone's like waiting, like, dude, that's the next step.
Yeah.
Then you got to steal.
But why would you want to go?
I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Then you watch that California welfare fund. It might be changing real quick. That wildfire donations he got. I just don't. If I'm Rodgers, though, I get he doesn't have many options, but the Steelers and the Giants just don't seem like great.
Why the
Steelers,
Giants?
I guess Giants because they'll give him money. I think it literally just comes down. They'll probably give him a decent contract. They have neighbors. That's about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a cool spot. He likes New York or whatever. But I feel like at that point of your career, like at the end, and I still think he's got something. Like, I'm not over here trashing Rodgers. I think he's got something. Give him a good offensive line, good defense, put a good team around him. I think he could do some stuff. Like, he didn't do bad last year. Like, look at his stats. I mean, he had no offensive line, and the Jets are the Jets. But I feel like in the right situation, like he could be good enough.
Yeah,
like,
it'd be fun to see.
I'd like to do something. I still don't think they're gonna win anything, even like with the Vikings. But I'm totally biased. I have no faith in the Vikings. I don't care. You put Joe Montana as prime today. The Vikings, they're like jinx. I don't know what happened. Like when they created that franchise, like, yeah, you guys can have a franchise, but you'll never win a Super Bowl. You'll get there. You'll get there sometimes, but you're not gonna win the thing. And I just feel like they're jinxed, and that's why their fans hang out in my comment section talking trash because like about that. Oh, we beat you in the regular season. Like, good job, bud. Just like Bears fans.
Yeah,
Bears fans, like they're still like, oh, the Caleb Williams is undefeated at Lambeau Field. Like, yeah, good, happy for you. You finally won a game at Lambeau Field. Congrats, bud. Like they cling on it. They cling on it, and they're just all this Caleb Williams stuff. And I got no hate for Caleb Williams. But Bear fans, like, it's like desperation. It's like when you beat your brother at basketball in the driveway one time, then you go around and, like, hang posters and tell everyone, I beat my brother. Oh, yeah. You don't talk about all the, I've beat him since 2018. You know what I mean? So, like, the Bears fans, have a good time. This is your time to shine, off season.
Yeah.
You guys are, doing some good stuff in the off season, which they usually do.
Yeah.
It doesn't always pan out. I think that they're getting evicted too. Are they going to be in Chicago?
We'll see.
I think they got evicted.
I think they're going to move away.
I think they're squatting at this point. I think they're squatting.
Squatters' rights. They're not leaving. Refuse. So we'll see.
They got robbed at one point. Like, what happened over there? Remember they got robbed?
Yeah, didn't homeboy get like checked out by like some weird like one of their coaches quit and then their house got raided? I forgot about all of that.
Yeah, they got. I don't forget. Bears, dude. Lambeau Field doesn't get robbed.
No, we also don't have the cops look into our coaches.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean, into Brett Favre and Mark Chmura, maybe, but not our coaches.
I know. Yeah, Mark Chmura, you got looked into a little bit, but all right. So let's see what else we got over here. No, but so let me ask you about. I think I pinned this comment over here. All right, so let's bring this one up. True North Packer fans, and I'm liking the Banks. Is a big dude. I like an offensive line that can push guys around in the run game. So let me ask you this offensive line, adding a guy in, everyone's talking about who's going to be where.
Yeah.
How do you think this offensive line matches up? I hope no one ever asked me this question because I would have no idea. But I feel like you're a little bit smarter than me. You might have an idea. How do you think this offensive line?
No, I'm going to make up everything right now.
Yeah, do it. You're like, why would you ask me a smart person question?
Don't. Let me Google it real quick. Let me see what ChatGPT says. No, I think the big question is going to come down to Jordan Morgan. Like, he's going to have, in my mind, 2 real opportunities, maybe a third made up one in my mind. So it's going to be Aaron Banks. He's left guard. That's not changing. He's played his whole career there. We just gave him 4 years, $77 million. He is left guard. Elton Jenkins, theoretically moving to center, which is he played that in college for a little bit. He filled in he filled in for us this year at center. He can be a Pro Bowl, All Pro center. I'm not worried about that. Right guard gets interesting. We have Sean Ryan, who had a pretty good season last year. He was splitting time with Jordan Morgan before Jordan Morgan got hurt. So that's going to be a battle. Jordan Morgan has a chance to get the right guard spot, see what Sean Ryan can do. The other position he has is left tackle. Like, he was a tackle in college. People thought he was going to be a tackle. They moved him into, they thought maybe guard because of size, but he's going to have all the chance to beat out Rasheed Walker at left tackle, see what happens. There's also a world maybe where he is better at right tackle. They put him there, move Tom to left tackle. That one's a far stretch in my mind. But just bringing Aaron Banks in, the only two positions right now that are solidified, Aaron Banks left tackle, Elton Jenkins center. That's it for me. Like, maybe they switch that up, but I think those other three positions could just move around and you never know. Like, Jordan Morgan is either going to be it's right now he's a swing person. He just fills in where you need him to fill in, but
I know a guy that I work.
Yeah, I know a couple swingers. Jordan Morgan is going to fill in where he needs to, but he has a couple chances. Like, he's a first round pick. We're going to give him all the chances in the world to earn a starting spot. And who knows? Like, there's rumbling that Zach Tom could also be an all-pro center. So maybe he goes into center position, Jenkins to right guard, and then we figure out what happens. But there's a lot to do. I guess I take back what I said. The only thing I know is Aaron Banks' rich self is left guard. The other four positions, who the hell knows? It's competition, baby. We'll figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah. Dude, offensive line is tough for me because when people always ask me about that, I wouldn't say always, but whenever they do, I always feel I've never felt dumber. It's like my third grade teacher trying to ask me a division question. Like, I can't wait till phones are invented.
Dude,
but
the hardest part is like with other teams, tough. With the Packers, way tougher because they only draft people who can play multiple positions. So it's like you bring in one person, Zach Tom. Someone put in the comments, what about Zach Tom? He could play literally anywhere on the offensive line. So, like, you really don't know if LaFleur is going to keep up about, like, competition is all it's always going to be competition, best five out there. Zach Tom could be anywhere on that offensive line because he can play every position probably at a starter level, which is insane to talk about. But yeah, we'll see. And to Phil Jones, he put Walker isn't moving. I don't think he'll go to a new position, but he definitely could potentially be beat out. Jordan Morgan was a first-round pick, was a tackle in college. If he beats him out, he beats him out, and then that gives us trade value with Walker.
Yeah,
I was going to
ask you about
6th, 7th round. We could trade him for a third rounder, trade him for a third or fourth rounder. We boosted up the value. Got a couple years out of him, got a higher draft pick. It's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Jordan Morgan, high draft pick. A lot of Packer fans, a lot of people around the world, Packer haters, even some Packer fans, not haters, but yelling bust on him. What's your expectations for a career for Jordan Morgan? I don't know. Yeah. I'm the last person to start judging offensive line. I'm not going to go look at stats and break out the PFF and watch film and like see how they do against the pass rush. I got drinking to do. You know what I mean? I don't do all that. Yeah. But what's your opinion on him and like you have high expectations of him being like a solidified starter, prolonged in Green Bay?
I would say the expectation for him is a starter long term. Like, you draft him in the first round, I would say a starter. I think where I differ is like it's not this year for me. Like, even last year, he was kind of following the Elton Jenkins track of splitting time with Sean Ryan until he got hurt and then missed most of the season. Elton Jenkins only became a full-time starter. I think it was Lane Taylor maybe because he got hurt. And so we needed Elton Jenkins to play. Before that, he was splitting some time. And so like the Packers are prolific on like they'll draft Lucas Van Ness, Rashawn Gary, even now. So Jordan Morgan, like we'll draft players and you go around that year, that third year is where you become a starter. They don't follow every other NFL team where it's like, oh, our first rounder needs to be immediate impact. They think develop, turn into a long-term starter. We win that first round pick. So for Jordan Morgan, I think, long-term starter is the goal, but I think this year it's just show what you can do and compete, be healthy. And let's see if there's a spot for you. If not, try again next year. Yeah.
That's kind of how it is at my job. They just hire people like, and sometimes they suck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes they're like, like me. You know what I mean? They're just trying to figure like, how did this guy get hired? They must be like really not that picky anymore. No, but I hope he's a long time starter. But like, yeah, offensive line is not my expertise at all. I don't think I have one. But if I did have expertise, it wouldn't be offensive line. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
This is a good question. Oh yeah, AJ Dillon. AJ Dillon's a
Yeah.
free agent. He passed all of his medical tests, right? Big AJ Dillon fan. I actually have. I can turn into AJ Dillon. Some people think I look like AJ Dillon. Do you think I look like AJ Dillon based on what's happening on your screen right now?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, dude. You look great.
No, but all love to AJ Dillon. But what do you think happens with AJ Dillon? Do you think
Yeah.
it's a tricky subject to talk about.
I would say he will find a great home somewhere else. I think if he is back at the Packers, it's practice squad. We had Josh Jacobs, obviously, workhorse, bell cow. Marshawn Lloyd, excited to get him back, change of pace. We brought back Emmanuel Wilson. I think we put the tender on him. So like we have a chance to bring, if someone tries to sign him, we can match it, and he's on the team. And then what is it? Chris Brooks. He also did well last season too as a third back out behind Emmanuel Wilson. So right there's 4 backs. You bring in AJ Dillon, who was already kind of on, I don't want to say a BS contract, but a weird one that we could kind of cut without any cost to us. He got hurt, unfortunate for him. So to me, I think at this point, like it's a 4-back room right now. AJ Dillon comes in, he's the 5th. So if anything, he's a training camp body, and then you move on from there. He has to be gone. I think if the Packers bring him back at this point, it's a disservice to him because there's no chance he's making the team. Let him go somewhere else, actually have a chance to make a roster, and then we see what happens.
Dude, I wonder if, like at some point, like AJ Dillon, he might move on and like go play for another team. But like Wisconsin is where he wants to be, right? His wife,
that's the tough part.
The family, the whole thing, Door County and all that. I wonder at some point he works for the Packers. Maybe not even like a coaching situation, which could be. I'm not saying he couldn't do it, but I'm not sure. Usually you don't just jump into the NFL for coaching. But remember when Favre was doing his thing, and they're like, "Hey, you can be like the spokesman. You can be like the player engagement, whatever." I wonder if like something like that would be in for AJ Dillon because fans love him. The Packers love him. He's good for the team. He's good for the fan base. He's good for the state. Yeah. I'm not sure he's done playing. I'm not sure that he wants to be done playing. So I think if he's not, he'll go on and he'll get a job. I think AJ Dillon's obviously a good dude off the field, but I think he's he's a good running back. But yeah, that running back room in Green Bay,
Steelers,
it's a little bit crowded. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a little crowded.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's very crowded. And even think of some other team. I guess the Chargers. They just signed Najee Harris, but they're looking for a better run game. Steelers lost Najee Harris. They have Jalen Warren. Maybe fill him in there. But if anything, even if he ends up on a practice squad, someone's going to go down this year. They can kind of sneak him in. We'll see what happens. But I think we'll see him take a snap somewhere this next season in the NFL.
Yeah. Yeah. And all the best to AJ Dillon. I love it to AJ Dillon. But, Ivan said we need a edge rusher. We need to get Hendrickson. Yeah, we definitely need maybe we bring back Preston Smith. I was thinking about this.
How cool that be. Bring him and Zadarius, both of them.
bring them both back. But I don't think Preston wants to come back because I think he's looking for a 3-4 situation. But imagine that trading him and then bringing him back and utilizing him and he's like that dude. I love Preston Smith, but it didn't work out in Pittsburgh for him. But I don't know what's gonna happen with all that. But yeah,
where do you think Preston goes? If you had to pick a team right now, where do you think he ends up? Because he, like you said, he wants a 3-4.
He wants a 3-4. I thought Pittsburgh was a good spot for him in that Tomlin defense, but it didn't work out. Like, who else has a 3-4 defense that
that's a great
that could
question,
use like a vet?
After I asked that, I was like, I shouldn't have asked that because I don't even have an answer.
Hopefully, there's no one in the NFC North, but I think Preston is. He's definitely still got it. Like to even say he's still got it, I think is stupid. He obviously does. Like didn't work on in Pittsburgh, but yeah. Hopefully he finds a spot, and he gets after it. You know what I mean? But
maybe
let's check
back there too. It's only been 2 days into free agency.
Oh yeah, he definitely could end up back in Pittsburgh. that's kind of how free agency goes. They got to find some spots. Maybe he does end up back there. Maybe he'll find the spot. You know what I mean? I'm sure he will. Robert East says, I can see it now a few years down the road, the John Kuhn and A.J. Dillon show. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a good comment there, Robert. I can see A.J. Dillon going in the media world, too.
100%.
He's got the podcast over there. Tune into Dillon. Check that thing out. And
what about John Kuhn made me think of this. The 49ers cut Usyk, their fullback. Juicy J, number 44.
Juicy J.
I want him on our team so bad. I want us to have like a legit fullback. And dude he blocks. He can go out and be a receiver if you need him to be a big body, dude. He does those wheel routes.
Like William Henderson type of fella?
Dude, he'll hurdle people. It's perfect.
Yeah, that William Henderson.
Yeah, Will Henderson. That's what I said. He'll hurdle you. No,
but his name is Juicy J?
It's Juice. I just added the J because of the rapper.
No, bro, you DM that man and say, hey, your new nickname is Juicy J.
Yeah, it's not Juice anymore. It's just Juicy J. Gotta
Juicy J, bro. That's a good nickname. I couldn't pull that off. I don't think I have enough juice. You know what I mean?
I think he'll get copyrighted. There's a rapper. I think from 3-6 Mafia, Juicy J. He's
I do like 3. I bet you won't hit him, mother. All right, so let's get the next comment. All right. Do you think the Packers would adjust Jair's contract so he can stay with the Packers? I hope they can do that because we are a better team when he is playing. And do you think we would bring back Zadarius Smith since he is no longer a Lions player? Let me answer this real quick.
Yeah,
first of all, the Zadarius Smith question, absolutely not. I don't think the Packers would ever bring him back. I don't think any team he's ever played for would ever bring him back. And I ain't got no hate for Zadarius, but I just feel like after he leaves, he burns bridges. He's like, he's like ripping it. Yay! There goes that bridge. You know what I mean? He kind of trashed his team. He talks too much. I don't know that he's going to get a lot more opportunities. And all love to Zadarius. I think he's a very good guy. He gets him hyped up, when he first gets there. But something happens in that meantime, and then some anger happens. But Jair's contract, that's an interesting one. Like, if he does stay a Packer, is there room for them to redo that so like it's team friendly? But when you do that, you're just kicking it down kicking the can down the field or down the road, as they say. So like, I'm not sure that they want to do that. But do you think there's any chance of either of those things happening?
With Zadarius, to go with that one, I'm with you. No chance. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
The thing I think of for him, in the Dark Knight when the Joker's walking out of the hospital and he's trying to hit that button for the hospital to explode, that's Zadarius. Anytime he leaves a team, he's like, I'm blowing this mother up.
Yeah.
We're done. Like, that's all I see. But with Jair, there's no reason. Maybe the Packers would, but if I'm Jair, there's no reason to do it. Let them cut you, get your guarantee that you have on your contract, go somewhere else, play, get a contract there. You're getting paid double. So like at that point, you might as well roll with it and see what you can get. And if the team doesn't believe in you enough to go for, like, not everyone is Preston Smith and Aaron Jones. Like, those guys liked being with the Packers before Preston obviously needed to go somewhere else. For just scheme fit, but not everyone's like them where they'll take a cut to stay with the team. And I just don't see Jair being that guy.
Yeah.
It's not a knock on him. I don't mean that in a negative way to him either. Cause like if my boss called me tomorrow and said, hey, take a $10,000 pay cut or leave, I'd be like, all right, see you, dude. Bye. Like I'm out.
Like, you don't want to take pictures before I leave? What you don't want to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not taking, I say get all the money for all the players in free agency. Like people like, they're not worth this. No, yeah, they are. That's why they're getting paid. No one's ever been overpaid in their life.
Yeah.
You are paid your worth, even at your job, no matter what job you have. I mean, people at your job are like, how does this guy have a job? But he's still worth it because they pay it. That's what being worth it is. No one's giving out charity money, especially in the NFL. But yeah, so there we go. Let's see what Ivan said. You know what I mean? Ivan says, I agree with Drew. Alexander is hurt more than me trying to do lawn work. Shout out to Ivan Lar. That was hilarious, Ivan. Anyway, shout out to Ivan. He's awesome. But But yeah, like Jair, I'm all with Jair, but like he's got to be on the field for that to be worth it, and
Yeah.
it'll be interesting to see like what the Packers do.
All right. If we
with
sign a
Jair.
player, let's say we bring someone before the draft, edge rusher or wide receiver, which one do you think we pick?
That's a good question. I for me personally, I say edge rusher.
Yeah.
We need to get pass rush, and not to even talk trash on the guys that we got, but like it's not working. Like you
Yeah.
need to have a pass rush, and I expect these wide receivers to pick it up and like catch the ball more. And I'm not saying because like last year, like when we talked about the number one wide receiver thing, myself for surely included, we all were like, we don't need a number one. We got to spread the ball around. And I was with it. I was like, yeah, I like this idea. It just didn't work out. That just proved not to be the case. We need a number one guy, or at least someone who's going to stand up. Maybe that person's on the team right now, but like DK, would you have won at DK? $30 million a year he wants? Would you have taken that deal if it was presented?
No, I wouldn't have.
I
was saying this on Pack a Day. With DK, like I think I know I'm dumb. But maybe I'm dumber than I thought. Yeah, for sure. Maybe I'm dumber than I thought because everyone's like, oh, yeah, second round pick, give him a big contract. In my head, I was like, why? Like he's a good receiver. He's not that good. Like he just seems like a big giant baby. Like he's fast. He'll catch a ball. And that's great. But then also he'll grab people's face masks and like complain. And there's one thing I literally said this on Pack Day. I'm like, there's one thing of a player like a Mike Daniels will get in your face, intimidating, aggressive. You want that on your team. When DK Metcalf does it, it just kind of seems like a whiny little girl. We're like, dude, calm down. Let's go play. Stop grabbing a face mask. You're not going to do anything. Let's stop whining. Let's play the game. Like, I don't know. I did not want DK. I think I just don't like him, and that rubbed off on my preference. But he just seems like a baby. I just don't want that on the team.
Yeah, I don't think that he's worth $30 million. I think he's a very good wide receiver. I just don't, and that might be like some ancient bias that I got for him, like on past games. But I don't want to give. I don't want to give him $30 million. I don't want to give. I would have rather had Devontae Adams if we could have got him, and not for $30 million. But like, I don't know what he got. I think he got around 15, didn't he?
Devontae, 2 years, $46 million. So 23 a year.
All right, so that's I don't know. That's probably more than I would.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm cheap. You know what I mean? I get mad about egg prices. You know what I mean? So like I talk about, you're talking about paying a wide receiver $26
picking them
million.
up in the store, slamming them down. Like I'm not paying for this crap.
I went grocery shopping the other day. We came home, eggs were broke. Me and my wife about fist fighting. We were like, "Who broke the eggs?" Yeah. She's like, "You did."
My mom the other day literally called me. Was like, she's like, I'm so pissed. I dropped the eggs, bringing them inside. I wasn't gonna waste them, so she literally poured the carton. Just like picked up the carton, just poured it all onto this pan and picked out the shells. She's like, I'm not wasting $7. Like I'm cooking these eggs.
She's like, who wants an egg salad? That's the thing. I was walking around the house the other day acting all fancy, eating egg salad. I was like, ooh, look at me. Do you have any Grey Poupon? Screw Grey Poupon. Do you have any egg salad?
It's the new caviar. Egg
Dude,
salad.
it is. I love me some egg salad, bro. But it makes the bathroom visits more frequent. I got one of those butthole blaster 3000s. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Just sprays like a water.
The old boudet?
Yeah, we got one of those. I think, dude, I don't know how it knows where the butthole is, but like it finds that thing.
Booty hole's never been cleaner, man. Congrats.
It ain't never missed once.
Shout out to
never,
your motto, man.
Never hit a cheek one time. No ricochet, nothing. It's always
it has a camera where it's just like.
Yeah, it's like I feel like it's just like Toy Story. That's they gotta have jobs when they get older. That's their job. Like, all right, we got the target in range. Fire on command. He's like, go, go, go.
The bidet just has those toy soldiers walking around. And that's what's in the contraption. I never knew, but it makes sense. It makes sense.
It all lines up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But big shout out to everyone who tuned in tonight. We got Jimmy Christensen over here. We're talking Packers football, and he is on every Sunday, Pack a Day Podcast. And
Matt, you're not
what are you doing
gonna
for the
believe it.
draft? No, what do you got?
Oh, I
Tell
was
me.
gonna say I'm not gonna spoil yet with who. But I am going for some reason. I'm gonna be on 2 episodes a week now of Pack a Day podcast. I'm gonna be on either Thursday, Friday, I can't remember, and then Sunday. So I'm adding another day with 2 people that are gonna be added to the
Dude,
team.
they getting
He'll explain that later, but yeah.
yeah,
they messed up.
They get thirsty. People quitting, huh? They can't keep them.
Those egg prices, man, they went up. He's like, dude, I can't afford eggs and all you guys. Jimmy, 2 shows a week. I was like, all right.
Yeah, he's like, I'll give you a 12-pack of hams for every episode you record. You know what I mean?
You offer me $8 pack of Trulies. I'm in, dude.
Anyway, we're gonna wrap it. So everyone, check out Pack a Day podcast. Jimmy Christensen is that your name is hard to say after about 4 or 5 beers.
Just call me Jimmy Christ.
I call you Jimmy Christ. Yeah,
The Penguin, dude. You haven't called me the Penguin all show.
Yeah, Jimmy the
Penguin.
Penguin.
Out, man.
Jimmy the Penguin. Hey, did you ever get that tattoo of the X on you? People have been asking about that.
I do have a X.
All right, you have a bunch of X's. He's like, which one, bro? Which one? I got a bunch of X's on.
Loophole.
So he got the X. He's a man of his word. So Jimmy, we will have to do this again soon. And always good talking Packers football. We got some Packers stuff coming up. We got the draft.
I had my break
what
now.
are you doing for the draft? You coming down for the draft? I forget.
I am. I was gonna chit chat with you after the show. Make you tell me all your plans. But yeah, no.
People keep asking me, like, what are your plans for the draft? Like, I'll be there. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, be drunk?
Yeah, I was gonna say alcohol.
I'm taking a week off. No, but I plan to do some live stuff. I don't know about, like, there's one thing I'm doing the day before the draft. I'm not sure if I can talk about. Like, if it's not my thing, I'm just gonna be part of it. It should be cool. Possibly at a mall. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to talk about it yet, so I won't. But that should be all right. And I'm kind of scared to do that. You know what I mean? Talking with a bunch of smart people about mock drafting. Like, I should seem smart,
dude. I'm excited for yeah. Tell me after the show, but I'll be up there for sure. We'll connect. My sister. Well, you met my sister when we at the
I did.
Texans. Oh, I had to censor myself. I'll be up there with her, and so yeah, we'll be golden, man. Yeah, we'll link up for sure.
Yeah, we got this. And big shout out to Drew Cave. He said he'll be there. He says, I'll be walking around litty titty with woods and whiskey. There you go. Yeah, we got the draft is going to be bananas this year. I'm going to be all over the place. I'm taking that whole week off. My son lives in Green Bay, so I'm going to stay over there. I'll be camped out at Corey Benke's front yard. He said not to. I asked him. He's like, no. You can...
Zero
be in the road. He's like, not even on the property line, dude. Don't come near it. No, I'm just kidding. But shout out to Jimmy Christian.
Car and just put a sign on the car like "homeless man under, do not drive," and just sit there. It's fine.
Yeah, that's a good warning sign. You don't get run over. That's a rough way to wake up. But shout out to everyone who's watching live and listening to the podcast. Be sure to, big shout out to Quick Trip, huge sponsor, and also Nicolay Law. Big thanks to them. And if you go to thematramage.com, we got some draft merch. Find my merch spot. We have your spot for a draft, Green Bay. We got some other Green Bay stuff. We got some stuff coming up before the draft probably. We're working on some stuff. And that's all I think I got. You know what I mean? So what's up, Jimmys? Want to say goodbye to the fine folks?
You're all beautiful. I don't have anything now, man. It's the offseason.
Say something clever.
See you at the draft.
Go Pack, go, baby. This is going to be a fun season. Fun draft. I was trying to play the music.
Yeah, I think you forgot to hit the button.
Yeah, no, I missed it.